All right, money in real estate is like oxygen. There's money everywhere. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to get money to invest in real estate. All right, first I'm gonna show you some of the most common places to find money to invest in real estate. Then I'm gonna show you some more uncommon places or places you might not have thought about. And then by the end of this video, you're gonna have 10 plus places to find money to invest it in real estate. All right, first I wanna get in your mind, your psyche, your subconscious, your unconscious mind, everything that money is everywhere. There is so much money out there right now that the United States government, the Fed, is just printing money while we sleep, while we eat, while we drink, and then there's so much available for you to invest in real estate and to grow this. When people see what you do in real estate, when you make money, when you make a return on investment, they're gonna wanna jump on a speeding ship. They're gonna wanna jump on a train that's taking off, and they will see your success and other people will want to get into it. So the first thing is mindset and just understanding that there is money everywhere. It's so abundant. Just because you take a little piece of the pie doesn't leave any less for any others. So just let me get that into your head. There is money everywhere, and the better you do, the more money that will come your way for investing in real estate. All right, so you're probably thinking, all right, just get to it. I wanna know where to find the money to invest in real estate. Well, the first place I'm gonna tell you is the most blatantly obvious place, and that is banks. There's a reason why they're the biggest, nicest buildings in every city and every state in this country of the United States. And it's because banks make a tremendous amount of money lending money out. Banks want you to borrow money from them. You are the client, you are the customer. One of the number one fears I find from people are they're just afraid to go to the bank and get told no. That is a serious fear for many people, and I've experienced it myself. I've struggled it with myself, and let me just tell you, the only way to get over that is to go to the bank and get told no, and then go to another one, and another one, and another one. Remember the story of Colonel Sanders. He was 60 plus years old when he created Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, and he was told no by many banks, and guess what? He did not quit, and then now we have the KFC we know today. All right, so I wanna give you some ideas when talking to banks. The best way is to go in and physically speak to the banker and present an exact plan of what you plan to do. You need to have all the details of the property that you're looking to purchase, whether it be land or a house or apartment complex. You need to have it all detailed out so it shows that banker exactly what you're looking for. Next, you want to have the projected rents or what you're going to project to sell it for, and then what you have to put into it, like repairs, capital expenditures, things like that. You want to have all this detailed out so you can explain it to the banker in a couple minutes, very time. And I want you to practice this beforehand. I don't want you to practice on the banker. You need to practice in front of your mirror and practice in front of your dog, your spouse, your children, because guess what? Our family members want to see us succeed, so they're more than happy to listen to you present. Now, don't go to that negative family member. Go to the one that's positive and uplifting, the one that's going to build you up, not beat you down. So be very careful at what family members you talk to or friends you talk to as well. So I want to talk about something that my mentor and coach, Dolph DeRue, told me about. That Dolph has written so many books on commercial real estate investing, but he actually started in residential real estate investing. But one thing I really learned from him that I've just taken home was if you can find a way to increase the value of the rent that will be coming in, you can increase the value of a building when it comes to commercial rents. So for example, there's a thrift store right now and they're only renting for $1,000 a month. So you find a tenant that's willing to pay you $2,000 a month and they sign a lease that will start at a future date in lieu of you purchasing that building. So if you don't purchase the building, they're not on the hook for the lease. But if you do purchase the building and you do everything you said you'll do in the contract, now that tenant has to lease that building from you for 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. The banks love to see the longer term possible, but if you just went from $1,000 a month on that building and you now increased it to $2,000 a month, you doubled the value of that building. All right, so once you double the value of this building and have this lease in place, you now bring this to the bank and show them what you've already done. Hey, this is what the purchase price is. This is what I've got as already a signed lease in lieu of purchasing this building. This is the repairs it needs, and this is what I plan to do. Would you consider loaning me the funds to purchase this building? And sometimes the bank will lend you the entire amount if you've got the rent high enough to cover the loan. Okay, next I want to talk about credit unions. A lot of times, credit unions are some of the easiest places to go to get loans for real estate because because credit unions are a lot of times member owned. The credit union I use in Colorado Springs is called Ent Credit Union. The members actually own the bank. So for instance, when the bank makes a profit, they disperse it out to all their members. And guess what? My credit union is free, so I have a free business checking account. I don't believe in paying for my checking accounts because here's what the bank's doing with my money. When I have it in that checking account that's not paying me any interest, they're loaning it out. They're showing it as security so they can borrow more money at 0% interest from the Fed and then charge me an interest rate for it. So credit unions are amazing. They're a lot of times smaller. You can get a business representative. You can actually speak to the people. And I already said this talking to banks, but I want you to go live in person. Look good that day. Shave, get a haircut, wear a suit, look good. I don't really recommend calling bankers over the phone to get loans because you're just another caller. When they see you, now you've created like an instant trust, instant rapport. They see your plan, now you're reputable. All right, so I should have mentioned this before talking to banks, but I want you to also think about something called a credibility kit. This is anything you've done in your life. Boy Scouts, you were the all-star football champion, you were the head quarterback, whatever it is, you were the president of your graduating class. I want you to show everything you've done throughout your life, preferably on a one-page document, but it's basically a credibility kit. Maybe you've flipped 100 homes. Maybe you've worked with a house flipper. Maybe you've worked in construction. Show everything you've done that would be valuable to transfer it over into real estate. I want you to have that credibility kit. And you don't have to spend a ton of time on this. This could be something that you spend only 1 or 2 hours on, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a little like a snapshot of who you are for this banker to give you a loan to purchase real estate with. All right, another one of my favorites are local community banks, because guess what? I called it the local community bank. What does the local community bank want to do? It wants to see the local community grow, because the more the community grows, then people move into that community and people borrow from that bank and they put their money in those checking accounts of that bank so they can lend that money out or borrow more money from the Fed, and ultimately it helps the community bank grow. So I was going down the street the other day. There's this old rundown property. This house has been sitting there for 100 years, and finally someone purchased this house and they're now rebuilding it from the ground up. And guess what? Marine Bank and Trust had this massive sign right next to the road showing that they are financing that deal and helping that proprietor or that business revamp that building and improve the area. This place was a rundown place where homeless people would live and people would do drugs in. That's no longer happening thanks to Marine Bank and Trust helping that person go in there to lend those funds to that person to go in and renovate that property and turning it into a thriving business. All right, next. One thing that people don't think about is their friends and their family members. And let me tell you how to find those friends and family members. Right here. In your phone, you have so much money in your phone, you have no clue. Like, this is something you just scroll down and look at the last 20 text messages. Look at the last 20 phone calls. Anybody that you've spoken to, I want you, just one person a day, tell them about what you're doing. Hey, I'm getting into real estate. Hey, I'm buying more rentals. Hey, I'm looking for a house to buy, fix, and flip. I'm looking for partners. Are you interested? That simple. Hey, here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I've done. Are you interested in partnering up? And that doesn't have to mean that you're going to split 50-50. That means they're going to help you with the lending and you're going to pay them a percentage. You're going to pay them, say, 6% or 7% or 8%. Because here's one thing you can do is, hey, what are your current investments making you? Well, I don't have any current investments, or I just got it sitting in a savings account earning me nothing, or hey, I just watched all my money go away in the stock market. So you can ask them, hey, how are you currently investing your money now? And I'm actually going to recommend some really great books. So just stick with me till the end and it'll show you exactly the verbiage to say. A lot of these things that I'm saying have come from these amazing books that people have written on finding money to invest in real estate. All right, back to friends and family. Let me tell you a little story about my mother-in-law. I had no clue how much money they were sitting on. And this money was just sitting in their house, in their safe, earning them a whopping 0% interest. And let me tell you, this year, it has been more inflation, 7% inflation, rapid inflation right now. So that money that's sitting in their safe, earning them no interest, let's just say it's $100,000. $100,000. If you take 7% inflation, that means they've lost $7,000 by leaving their money sitting in their safe for the last year. Now, if they lend it to me at 7% interest, that means they basically broke even. They didn't lose it to deflation. They didn't lose it to increase on return on investment. Let's just say they loaned it to me at 14% interest. Well, you might say, well, Brent, that seems a little high. It seems like a hard money lender. Why don't I just go to a hard money lender? Yes, I'm just using an example, but if they loan it to me at 7% interest, that means my mother and father-in-law earn 7% on their money at a 7% inflation rate. Just do the math on that. People need us right now. They need us to use their money to make a return on investment so their retirement keeps going up. All right, so remember how I said that you've got to go to these banks and get no sometimes? I'm gonna ask you something that I pray you don't say no to, and that is smash that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's the last time I'll ask during this video. All right, another way you can find money to invest in real estate is really just your acquaintances you're around already, your local social groups, church, Cub Scouts, you might be a leader in the Boy Scouts, acquaintances. I think I said that already. Just talking on Facebook and Instagram about what you do, some of your projects, some of the houses you're looking at. You might say, well, Brent, I haven't done any real estate yet. Well, go and help someone else clean out their rental. You can actually post and shoot videos and post photos of what you're actually doing to help other investors. So just your acquaintances. We don't realize that our mouth is the best promotion source we've got. And then we got social media. We got Facebook, we got Instagram, we got Snapchat, things like that. TikTok, like the new phenomenon of TikTok. You can just shoot videos and show what you're doing to attract money to you. All right, remember how I talked about one of those uncommon techniques? I'm gonna share with you something that one of my private money lenders did to raise $7 million in a very short amount of time. What he did was he went on listsource.com. That's listsource.com. You can do this with PropStream. You can do this with the other, other data companies, but I really recommend listsource.com as the #1 place. And that is going to 55 and older. He's looking at people that are 55 plus and they've been in their home for over 10 years and they have $0 owed on their mortgage. So that means their mortgage is paid off, they've lived in the same place 10 years and they're 55 and older. What does that tell you about these people? They're pretty stationary, they're not moving around, their house is paid off, so they're pretty smart financially, and they're 55 plus, so more than likely they have some sort of retirement, IRA, 401k, preferably maybe even a self-directed IRA, but he looked for people that were in these categories, 55 plus, lived in the same house 10 years, their house was paid for, they might even have a home equity line of credit on this house, and he would shoot a simple postcard saying, hey, do you want your money in the rocky stock market, or would you rather invest in a more safer investment such as a house, a piece of land, apartment complex? And he would have a picture on this postcard. Call me, let's have coffee. That simple. And then once he would have coffee with these people, he would share what he's doing. Hey, I bought all these duplexes. Hey, I've got this 19-unit apartment complex. Hey, I just worked with another investor and we did this flip and we made $50,000 together and we split it. We both have $25,000 in our pocket. People want to jump on board with that. That is one way he raised $7 million in a very short amount of time. All right, so I got a free gift for you. If you stick around with me till the very end, I will give you this exact postcard that my friend used and gave me to also build up my private lending, my people that lend me money to buy real estate every single day. I will share that exact postcard with you, but you've got to stick with me to the very end. All right, we're almost done. We keep going through the list. Another one is going to local real estate investment associations, local real estate meetups. And let's just say that your town doesn't have one. We'll start one, and you don't have to do it by yourself. Reach out to a prominent real estate broker, reach out to an investor, reach out to a real estate attorney or a title company and ask them to partner with you. I call this ecosystem merging. I got this from my friend John Callaghy. He's another coach and mentor of mine. He started the Unblinded Foundation, and he taught me how to merge ecosystems. So I'm actually starting another meetup, another real estate investor association, my second one now, but it's going to be in Vero Beach, Florida. And I'm starting this with a local real estate attorney, a local title company, a local real estate broker, a contractor, an insurance agent, and we're all going to be responsible for inviting people to merge ecosystems with real estate. And oh, by the way, one that I left out, the lender. I started one of these, a local real estate investor association in Colorado Springs. It is still going today. It's called the Colorado Springs Real Estate Investor Association. Dan Haberkost and Colin Smith are still running it. But guess what? I got this idea from Colin Smith, my real estate broker. He said, let's start a meetup. And I was like, hey, Colin, I'm still new to the real estate game, but let's do it. I relied on Colin's knowledge, and we both just went out and started inviting people. We had over 100 people showing up to Third Space Coffee every single 2 weeks that we did it. So we would do it every 2 weeks, twice a month. We've now went down to once a month. That way we can build it bigger and not have like I would say subpar speakers, but we focused on getting better speakers, people that gave knowledge and gave things and gave their experience. But you can do so many things by going to local real estate investor associations or even starting one. One of the major things that I've done with it is finding so much money, people to do deals with, but also people to borrow money to do real estate investment deals with. All right, so I wanna recommend two amazing books that I talked about in the beginning of this video. One is Getting the Money Now by Susan Lassiter Lyons. And the next one is Where to Get the Money Now by Jay Connors. And these are books that have built my foundation on finding private money, raising private capital, raising capital, and then I promise you that free gift. I'm gonna give you the exact postcard that I send to people that are 55 and older, lived in their house 10 plus years, and their house is paid for, to see if they want to partner with me on deals. And that is by going to thelandsharks.com/lending postcard. That's thelandsharks.com/lending postcard. And it's also below in the description. You can click on the link. It's going to ask you for your name and your email, and then we'll send it to you via email. And then guys, if you're looking for additional capital, the easiest, fastest way is by going to thelandsharkscapital.com. That's thelandsharkscapital.com. This is a private lending company that I've teamed up with to help me do financing, as far as for me to borrow money from, so I can get lending on my land deals and my house deals. So go to thelandsharkscapital.com. The link is below in the description.